Hello.
How's it going?
Good, good.
The city of New York, Boricua from the Bronx.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Thought I could tell you a little bit more about our mats, and if you have any questions, I can answer those.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so are you familiar with acupressure mats at all? Have you heard of them or tried them or anything like that before?
I've never used one. I don't
Mm.
know. I've never used one. I'm familiar with the concept,
Mm-hmm.
of, like acupressure and even acupuncture. Like I've done that in the past and
Right.
stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
have a vague understanding. Like I don't, I'm not an expert by any means, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have a vague understanding of it, but I've never used a mat, so I'm not entirely sure how they work and stuff, how to
Mm-hmm.
position and everything. But yeah, I do have an overall,
An idea.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I just like to ask just because for some people it's like a totally new concept, like something they've never heard of. Like maybe people have heard of acupressure but have never tried it, or just like the mat, they're really not familiar with it all and maybe have never seen one or anything like that. So I just always like to check with people because the acupressure mat is sort of like a newer concept in the last maybe 5 or so years. It's sort of gained popularity. So I'm always interested if people have heard of them or anything like that before. But yeah, essentially, the acupressure mats work similar to acupressure, that you could, go somewhere and have someone perform acupressure on you, or you can even perform acupressure on yourself, which is the idea of stimulating these key points on the body, which can help, promotes relaxation and healing, and helps to relieve tension and things like this. And so the mats were an idea to sort of target larger parts of the body and apply these acupressure points to larger sort of sections of the body rather than just, only being able to do like 1 or 2 points at a time with fingers. And so the acupressure is really sort of almost like a combination of massage, acupuncture, and reflexology. And so with our mats, you can use them sort of in 3 different positions, and you could position it on all different parts of your body depending, but generally you sort of can lay on the mat, sit on the mat, or stand on the mat. And as I said, like laying on it could be laying with your back on the mat, but it could also, you could move it down your body and it could be on any part of your body. The mat is sort of, the length of it is sort of like the length of your back, so it's not like a yoga mat where it goes the length of your whole body, so you could move it around and depending like different areas if you wanted to target them. And you can even lay on your stomach as well, like you could lay on the front side of your body and use it that way as well. But yeah, we generally recommend, if you're new to acupressure, laying on the mat is the easiest way to get started with it. So like I'll often lay in my mat before I go to bed, like just put it on my bed and sort of lay on it for, 10, 15 minutes before I go to bed, just to sort of help me relax at the end of the night. And I find it's almost like meditative using the mat, and it helps me to really focus and be present in the moment because you're sort of focused on the sensation of being on the mat. And so it helps me when I'm going to bed. I often find I'm sort of going through my to-do list for the next day or thinking about things that happened during the day with work. And so I find it helps me calm my mind and focus and better prepare me for a good sleep. So laying on the mat, I would recommend to get started. And using the mat, you can use it either with bare skin on the mat or wearing clothes or like with a little towel on it. Again, if you're new to it, I would recommend starting wearing clothes, just like a thin t-shirt or something like that. It's not going to poke a hole in the shirt or anything, but I just wouldn't recommend, going on it with like a cashmere sweater or something like that where it could pull at the fabric, but just like a cotton shirt or whatever is fine. You can lay on it, and then sitting on it is another great option. So I will often, I find it's really great for me, like sort of in the afternoon when I sort of hit that midday slump and I'm feeling like a little tired and like I want to drink coffee or like have something sweet, but rather than do that, I'll sometimes sit on my mat and I'll just put it on my office chair and sort of fold it in half, like have half of it that I'm sitting on and then the other half going up my lower back. And so it helps me to sort of relieve some lower back pain that I sometimes will get if I'm sitting too much with work and I just had one of those days where I can't get up and walk around and stretch like I would normally like to do. So that's great. And it's a little bit stimulating. So again, I find it helps wake me up. Like I said, if I'm hitting that 3 p.m. slump or something like that, it's sort of like the stimulation from the acupressure point sort of helps wake me up at that point. But at the same time, it's not so stimulating that you can't use it before bed. Like I said, I also use it before bed, and at that time I find it relaxing. So I guess, you know, it can serve either purpose depending on what you're looking for. Yeah, and then standing on the mat is the most intense because it's your full body weight on it, and it's on, you know, a very small surface area of just your feet. So with standing, again, I would say, like, make sure you're wearing socks. You put a towel down on it first just to get started, and then you could work your way up to bare feet. But yeah, it's great to sort of use the mat for intervals. We recommend 5 to 20 minutes at a time. Again, getting started, you'd probably start on the lower end of that spectrum and then work your way up to longer periods of time. The longer you spend on it, the more benefit you're going to get, sort of like in a massage, like when a masseuse just starts massaging a really tense area, like, you know, they massage that area for 1 minute, they're not really going to get into that muscle that they need to get into. But if they spend more time, then it starts to sort of relax and things like that. So that's sort of the same approach with the mat. The longer you spend on it, the more you're going to relax into it and experience relief in the different points. What else? I was just thinking of something I wanted to tell you that I lost my train of thought. But maybe, do you have any questions for me or anything that's come up just while I've been chatting that you're wondering about?
Well, you kind of bombarded me, but I think I got some stuff. You're the founder of the product. Did you invent it?
No, so we didn't invent it. Like, the mat existed. I'm not sure when exactly the year that it was invented and who it was invented by, but it's been around for a few years. So we didn't invent the mat itself, but when we came on board, we started our company in 2016. We wanted to design a mat that we thought was a little bit nicer, higher quality, better materials, and also just a nicer look, because at that time, a lot of the mats that you saw on the market were like pretty cheap, like not very nice materials. They weren't very nice looking. Like the Accupressure points were sort of cheap. They would fall off sometimes. And I had an old mat, and it was like a $20 mat, and like it sort of started falling apart after a couple of months. And I just sort of thought, like, it's such a waste. Like, if I buy something like this, I want to be able to use it for a number of years. I don't want to have to keep replacing it. Right. And so we just redesigned a new mat. So using, you know, the concept of the Accupressure mat, which we hadn't invented, we just designed a new style of mat that was higher quality, more eco-friendly. Like, usually they have a foam inside. Ours has this coconut fiber that we use inside, and then using like nice linen fabric, and then higher quality acupressure points. So yeah, so we just designed a new sort of look for an acupressure mat, but we didn't come up with like the concept itself.
Do you have a background in this stuff?
Yeah, so when I got started in it, it was more just like a passion project and an interest that I had, and sort of you know, just a lot of research and reading that I had done on acupressure. And acupressure itself is something you can perform on yourself, like I was talking about. Like, there's key points.
Oh, I'm doing it
you
right
can
now.
Just apply.
I have this weird stick thing. I don't even know what it's called, but like my left side is a little tight today. I taught Zumba yesterday, and I went kind of hard, you know, and we're doing it on a rooftop. So since we're doing it on a rooftop, you know, it's concrete. It's not, you know, it's not meant for this kind of stuff. So I woke up with my right side tight, and I have this, it's like an arch thing with like a trigger point. So I'm pressing that hell out of that into my lower back to loosen it up as we talk.
Yeah.
So
So I don't really have a background in this stuff, but it was like that. Like, you know, I just
wanted to get
done
into
research and found different things. Yeah, you found, like,
it.
you look online and you find ways you can sort of relieve pain. And I was like, oh, this is fascinating, this stuff. And I got more and more into it, and then found these mats as another source of relief, and just got interested in it. So, yeah.
I don't claim to be an expert in the stuff, but I know that my back hurts today, and I'm pressing this thing into it, and it feels better. So, and obviously when you get a massage, you feel better. So if money were not an option, I would get 2 or 3 massages a week. You know,
I know. Wouldn't that be amazing?
You know, if finances were not a limiting factor, those are the things that I would do if I won the lotto, or if I became independently wealthy. You know, a massage just to keep my body nice and nimble and healthy and things flowing. You know, a gym and a chef. I'd need a chef.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a great combination, those 3. That sounds great.
You know, have all the healthy meals being made, you know, keep your body those are the things that I think of. I don't, maybe a pool. All right, I'll, get a pool.
Yeah.
I'll splurge a little.
Nice.
So you
Yeah,
traveling?
so
You're
oh, sorry.
traveling now for business? For the.
No, not for business. We're just visiting my partner's parents for a little bit. So it's we have our Thanksgiving in Canada early. It's Thanksgiving next weekend, but we're sort of visiting his family in anticipation of going there for Thanksgiving weekend. But I can work from wherever, so I usually just we'll go other places and just work there. So it's not like a full-on vacation, but it's a vacation in a sense that you're working in a different place. Yeah, so we're just, it's not the best, the service where I am is sort of sometimes not the best. So that's why I thought I don't want to be cutting out on you, so we can always just do a call. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Angel. Yeah, have a great rest of your day.
You too. Safe travels. Enjoy. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Even if it's in Canada.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, a little bit early for you guys, but.
Awesome.
Thanks.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.
You are listening to the NYC Talking podcast. www.nyctalking.com. Please like NYC Talking on Facebook. Please follow Angel R Talk on Twitter and Instagram. We are NYC Talking, the realest lifestyle blog ever. Thanks for listening.